My wife divorced me because she was embarrassed that I worked as a janitor at a tech company, but she didn't know I actually owned the entire building and the company inside it. Listen closely, because this is how I humbled the most shallow woman on earth. I made my fortune in software development in my early 20s and retired young with about $80 million in the bank. But I got bored sitting at home doing nothing, so I decided to take a low-stress job as a janitor at a local tech startup just to keep busy and stay humble. Nobody knew who I was except the CEO, who happens to be my old college roommate. I met Jessica 3 years ago and I didn't tell her about my money because I wanted to find someone who loved me. For me, not for my bank account. She thought I was just a struggling janitor living in a modest apartment and driving an old truck. At first, she was sweet and supportive, but as her friends started getting married to doctors and investment bankers, she became resentful and cold. She would refuse to introduce me to people at dinner parties and would make fun of my work uniform, telling me I smelled like bleach and failure. She was obsessed with status and image, and I was holding her back last month. She started coming home late, smelling of expensive cologne. That definitely wasn't mine. I checked her phone while she was in the shower and saw a romantic text from a guy named Brad, who turned out to be a regional manager at the very company I worked at. Brad was a typical arrogant corporate guy driving a leased BMW and flashing a fake Rolex, and Jessica fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. She sat me down last Friday and said, "I can't do this anymore. Adam, I need a man with ambition, a man who goes places, not someone who scrubs toilets for a living. I'm leaving you for Brad. He is a manager and he makes 6 figures." I just looked at her calmly and said, "Okay, if that is what you want, sign the papers." She signed them so fast, she almost broke the pen explicitly, waiving all spousal support and asset division because she thought I had nothing to give her except debt. She packed her bags and moved in with Brad that same night, thinking she had upgraded her life the next day. I walked into the office wearing a $5,000 Italian suit. Instead of my usual blue jumpsuit, I walked right past the reception and swiped my master key card to enter the executive elevator. Going to the top floor, Brad was in the main conference room presenting his quarterly sales numbers to the CEO and the board of directors, bragging about his mediocre performance. The CEO saw me walk in and immediately stood up, shaking my hand saying, "Welcome back, Mr. Chairman. Please take your seat at the head of the table." Brad looked confused and started laughing nervously, saying, "Hey, Adam, the cleaning closet is in the basement. You can't be in here." I looked at Brad dead in the eye and sat down in the chairman's chair. The CEO looked at Brad and said, "Actually, Brad Adam here owns the controlling stake in this company. He is the majority shareholder, which makes him your boss's boss's boss." Brad's face turned pale white and he dropped his laser pointer. I leaned forward and said, "Brad, I reviewed your performance reports and frankly, they are as disappointing as your personality. You are fired for violating the company policy on inter-office relationships and also for being annoying. Get your stuff and get out." Then I pulled out my phone and called Jessica on speakerphone so the whole board could hear. She answered thinking I was begging her to come back. I said, "Hey honey, I just wanted to let you know I fired your boyfriend Brad. So now he is an unemployed manager with a leased car he can't afford. And I am still the owner of a multi-million-dollar tech company. Oh, and thanks for signing the divorce papers yesterday. It saved me about $40 million in the settlement." She started screaming and crying on the phone, but I hung up and blocked her number. Moral of the story: never judge a book by its cover because the guy cleaning the floor might just be the one who owns the building.